Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave. This is Olive, and we mostly talk about books. So today we are doing another book haul that we had promised you guys. We mentioned that. So our favorite used bookstore is one up on my daughter's college. It's called Gray Matter Books in Hadley, Massachusetts, and we had gone up there a couple times and just got behind on recording them. So we just recently did the one haul, and then we had two more trips after that. But one was very small, so we were just combining those to tell you about those today because we have another mini book fair coming up this weekend. So we'll get these out of the way here first. So this was two trips, but the first trip we got very little. Well, at least in our view, it was very little, right? Because we're nuts. So the first thing we got there was this actually we got for our good friend Gareth over Book Songs and Other Magic. This is a stainless steel rat is born by Harry Harrison. So this is not for us. This is for Gareth. This is the only stainless steel rat one that he was missing. So they happen to have it there. So we picked that up for him whenever we finally get to see him again. So we picked up a couple things for ourselves, or not us. You weren't there. I got to stop saying that. I picked up a couple of things for us, right? One was this, The Fiend in You. So this is an old, as you can see, an old paperback of horror stories. So this has Charles Beaumont, Richard Matheson, Fritz Lieber, Robert Bloch, Ray Bradbury. It's almost like a collection of the Twilight Zone writers or something. It's sounds great. I mean, it's all great writers in here. So we picked that baby up. And then we also saw this. You guys know we love the little Ace science fiction classics. So we found one, Jules Verne. Look at that. It's in perfect condition. And this has both Master of the World and Rober the Conqueror in it. Where I guess he goes around in this flying machine that back then was an amazing thing. So I don't really know much about it, but it looked neat. Okay, and then the last thing we picked up on that trip, but then we got the other one to show you. But the last one we picked on that trip is a nonfiction book. We have been, as you may know, we've been getting much more into history, and in particular American history lately. In particular, with everything happening in the U.S. and putting things in a lot of historical context, or trying to anyway. And so we saw this book, which we had never heard of before, called Break It Up by... Ooh. Break It Up by Richard Kreitner. I really scared the crap out of myself. Did I scare you with that? Oh God, I thought I was going to lose a toe. This is a heavy book, but yeah, as you can see, succession, division, and the secret history of America's imperfect union. So yeah, so this is a book about all the times. We always just think about the Civil War, right? When the South tried to secede, and when we had a war over it, but there have been a lot of, I guess, cases where, parts of the U.S., a lot, but a number of instances where parts of the U.S. Wanted to or came close to separating from the rest of the U.S. So there have been a number of different secession movements and times where that sort of thing came up, and so I don't really know much about it, So it just sounded really interesting, again, especially, living today where, like, you're starting to hear things about people wondering whether we're getting pushed towards the second Civil War. We have a very partisan country right now. And so it just sounded like something I'm really interested to read right now. Let me know if any of you have heard of this book, and if you've read it, what you thought of it, because we thought it sounded really, really interesting. So it's not short, but we're going to try to make some time for this, I think, in the near future. Okay. Then the next trip that we did to Gray Matter Books was we found a number of different things here. So first one is Land of Unreason by L. Sprague de Camp and Fletcher Pratt. So this one just looked like good fun. First of all, just the cover looked really cool. And but yeah, it's like when you read the back, it says the elf was drunk to begin with. Otherwise, he would never have kidnapped Fred Barber and dropped him into the court of King Oberon and Queen Titania. So it sounds like it's a fun one. You know, like this guy Fred Barber, I guess gets taken out of like the normal world and dropped into this fantasy world with elves and fairies and goblins and everything. And he's trying to just get back to like normal 20th century world, right? So it sounds like it's probably a funny one, and that it's probably fun, and it's not too long, so it looked cool. I'd never heard of it, but it looked interesting. Let us know if you have. Then picked up this Ape and Essence. Ape and Essence by Aldous Huxley. Now, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but until I saw this book there, I didn't know. Supposedly, this is a successor to his Brave New World, and I'd never heard of this book before, so don't really know much about it. It's or anything about it. So we're actually reading Brave New World right now because we're buddy reading that with Gavin over at Genre Books. So yeah, so I don't know how we have never even heard of this, but I think we be booktubers and have never heard of it, huh? Okay. Then we picked up this Cordwainer Smith, his The Under People. Now, we've never read any Cordwainer Smith, right? You never read any Cordwainer Smith. No. We never read any Cordwainer Smith, but I have heard people talk about this author. I think it was Science Fiction Reads in particular was talking about Cordwainer Smith a while back. And anyway, sounded like a science fiction author we should have tried and we haven't. So I don't usually see this author's stuff out in the wild. And so saw it this time and picked it up. This is The Long Tomorrow by Lee Brackett. So we love this version, that really cool cover. And we picked this up because we don't know too much about it, but we picked it up because Gareth at Book Songs and Other Magic loves this book. He thought this was a great book. And this is, it's set in the future, and like I think the technology is outlawed and you can't have big cities. Like every town or city has to be like very small. And so there's a lot of new rules in like the future U.S., I guess. And anyway, Garrett said it's phenomenal, so that's why we picked it up. Okay, then So in that last haul we did, we said that we had. I don't remember where I put it now, but there was a series of books by Jack Chalker that we had picked up, and then when Janice saw that we picked that up, she said. She knew all about Jack Chalker and said that she had liked the River of the Dancing Gods series better. So we looked for that, and we had found that. And we showed this one in the last haul. This is the first book. Well, sure enough, we get very lucky on these things. Sure enough, 2 trips later on this most recent trip, they had just happened to have the second and the third one there. This is Vengeance of the Dancing Gods and Demons of the Dancing Gods. So, yeah, so we got really lucky. So now we got all these Jack Chalker books, and we haven't read a single one. And we got a few books from 2 different series. So hopefully we like the guy, but these things are super cheap. These paperbacks, they're super cheap. So, and we got, not a sci-fi, we got this. We got Checkpoint by Nicholson Baker. So this is, you see, this is a very short book. We picked this up because we have, in relatively recent time, we've read 2 books by Nicholson Baker. The first one was called The Fermata. And that was, wow, that was probably the most extreme. That was like super crazy, highly sexually charged book, but it was also like a master class in in changing different narrative forms and just using those narrative forms to just sort of just suck the reader into the experience. Like I explained it better when we did that book. I'll try to link that video below if I can remember. But it was just the book was phenomenal, and I mean it was an insane book. Probably not for everybody because of the subject matter, but it was really, really pushed you, that book. So then we picked up another one by his that we found in the wild called Vox, which was it was also kind of intense, and it was about just a conversation between two people on one of those old phone chat lines, and the whole book was about their conversation and the escalation in that conversation. So I want to read more Nicholson Baker because both books we were pretty impressed by, and so this is another one that this sounds very similar to the last one I just talked about. This is about two guys that go to have lunch together in like in a hotel room, and they just start chatting about all different sort of things, and then one starts telling the other guy about how he's planning to commit a murder, how he's going to commit this murder that's going to change history. So seems very similar. It's like all this one conversation I think that they're having in this hotel room. So, and I guess gets increasingly insane, So we figure we pick it up because we haven't had a bad experience with him yet so far. So that's that does it. That's what we picked up on those last two trips to Gray Matter Books. So let us know if you've read any of these. We already know Janice has read those Dancing Gods books, but anything else that anybody has read, let us know. Let us know what you thought of them, or if you're thinking about reading any of these. We of course always love to hear from you. If you don't have anything substantive to say, you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji, right? Because you still have one over here. Look at that. We forgot about that one. A little pick me up. You can always leave Olive a puppy emoji because she does always love to see those, right? You'll always love to see the puppy emojis, right, pups? Yeah. Olive's like almost totally healthy again now. She's walking around fine. She's jumping up and down off this chair. I'm trying to make her keep it at a minimum, but she's doing great. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you again very soon. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.